I've touched on this subject before, but I thought I'll do it again just to show my customer. It's about changing these P gaskets. This is a 1994 engine. Now I'm going to have a look at the P gasket and put a metal one in, because the original ones were paper. You see, there's two different. This was the upgrade. But because it's got the old timing belt on, I'm not sure, and you can't see behind here, if it's got the paper or the metal gasket. What a good idea from Land Rover would have been, if it's got a metal gasket, put an extra tang on it, you know, so you can tell. Just like they did the upgrade here for the timing gears and the idlers and things. So I'm going to pull this off and have a look. Now, just for you, for those who haven't seen this video before, take this nut off here, pull out the pulley, because there's a 13mm headed bolt nut behind there, and then all you've got to do is take two bolts off there. Where else is the other one? I think that's about it, really. Oh no, you take the water pump bolts off, and this gives us a golden opportunity to put some grease on those grease or anti-seize on those water pump bolts, because they are a bugger. So nut off here, 3 bolts off here, 2 bolts off the bottom, and this should tap off. You've also got to undo this top hose. Now just as an observation, everything that's steel on this motor, like these pipes here, if you can see inside there, they're all rusty. This hasn't had any Prestone in it for a long time, or antifreeze or anti-corrosion. It's just standard, so Lord only knows what we're going to find behind here. So we're going to give it a bit of a tap off. Let's have a look. Who knows what's behind? Who knows the secrets? It's a paper one. Haha, it is a paper one. So that was a good news. That was a good bet to take that off. I had my suspicions. Hallelujah. I should have put $10 on that. Right, so we're going to clean that up. No point showing you how to do that. We just use our gasket. But look at this. There is absolutely nothing left of that gasket. Really, really bad. I mean, let me take the camera off and show you. Yeah, look at this. Look at the corrosion in this block. It's not bad, but it's not good. But ooh, did you see that just fall off? Look at this. There's absolutely nothing left of it. Look. Honestly, you've just seen me take it off, and where is the gasket? There isn't one. It's just gone completely. So that's a good thing to check. That's where I was talking about the water pipes. See inside? See inside the hoses. One other thing you can see now where I put the sealer, and it's gone all the way nicely round here. One thing I am tempted to do whilst I'm here is, because I'm on a roll at the moment, is if I've got some frost plugs or core plugs, to change that one. Because that one, you know, it's a bit of a bugger to get to. In fact, I think I'll do that. What a carry on. Can't find me portable drill. Had to use a great big drill. That snapped off inside this hole. What a carry on. You'd almost think it was Friday. Anyway, let's give it a tap. Hey, look at that. Now, it's not that bad inside. So we had nothing really to worry about, see? But that's an easy way of getting them out. So then, I'm going to clean up this area here and put a bit of paint on it, because no doubt Charles would like it to see it painted. So once the paint's dry, we've got our new core plug. Now there's two schools of thought about doing these plugs. One is to put them in dry, and one is to put them in with sealer on the edge here. Now, once upon a time I put some in with some Hylamar. That was a bad idea, because once it got under water pressure, because it was sort of like a soft, the blue Hylamar, one of the plugs popped out. So I didn't like that. So I'm going to put these in dry. In America they call these frost plugs, and their thinking is that when it gets frosty and if you've got just water instead of any antifreeze, then these plugs will pop out and save the block. Well, they couldn't be further from the truth. Anybody else who knows about these things knows when they make castings, to get that hollow, there's your cylinder inside there, you see. In order to make that cylinder, this is all full of sand. So the piece that's supporting the casting inside is held by a sprue of sand, if you see what I mean. And then they put it on they put the blocks on a great big vibrating table, and they vibrate them like hell, and all the sand falls out, and that's how they get the sand out. So these are to hold in the casting in the middle, when the form in the middle, and also to get the sand out. There you go. See, learn something new every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the core plug using an old nut. I think this is off a Buick. So I'm just going to. I need to get it square. That's a bit. There we go. I'm going to tap it in without tapping my fingers. And that's all it gets. Just go, there's a little chamfer on the edge. Just go below the chamfer so you get the maximum surface contact, and that should be good. And it'll eventually sort of rust up and it'll be good. So the next thing, going to step in front of the camera again, is to put our gasket on. What I've done is I've been using this tool on a low setting. In fact, on its lowest setting, and it's got a sandpaper on, and you can put this on here and really sand them off both sides, and you get a beautiful flat surface. But because you don't know if the gasket's asbestos or not, I always wet it down with some WD-40, because that's all it's good for, and it makes a lovely finish. I mean, it's a bit popped on here because I got some paint on, but that doesn't really matter. So I'm going to get some Hylosil, and we're going to put this gasket on. I've mentioned Hylomar products quite a lot, and this is Hylosil. We use this on the oil pans, sumps and all sorts of things, but it's really handy to use on gaskets as well, just to give it a little bit more. Some paper gaskets I just use grease, but on this one we're just going to put a light smear all the way around, straight out the tube, you see, like that. Just like we say, belt and braces, so it's got two chances. So if the gasket fails, it's still got some sealer on that gasket. You're supposed to put it on with a little tube that comes. The Hylosil comes with a little tube, but I've sort of lost it. So we're going to put that gasket on. Now, most importantly, before I didn't tell you, but I blew out all the holes inside and make sure they were nice and clean. The last thing you want is sealer inside these holes, because this, which one is it now? This one in particular. Let's have a little zoom in. You might be able to see. Let me get my flashlight. So, if you can see in here, the casting wall is extremely thin. You can see that this one here, this one right at the bottom, it's very thin. You can see just where the bit of moulding is, and if you get water in here, because obviously water's going to leak down, so you really have to drain your block out before you do this. But if you get any water in that hole, you can fracture that casting, and then it is a bugger to seal up, because you've got 15 pounds of water pressure trying to escape, and if it's cracked, I would almost think the block would be scrap. because trying to machine that and trying to weld it is very, very difficult. So just be very careful and make sure all the holes are blocked out, are blown out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit this casket. I've put the front cover back on, the alternator cover, and if there's anything else to tell you, well, we'll tell you and then do a recap. So there we go, we're all back together again. This tensioner had already been replaced with the Deco one, so that's good. The bearing's good. Good time to check it whilst all this lot's off. Now, is there anything you need to know? Well, there's bits I missed out. These bolts that hold the bottom of the water pump on do get corroded. This is why I say put some anti-seize on. But sometimes, and just sometimes, if you put a big bar on and you try and pull, you get a big bar and you're trying to pull these bolts off and they won't come out, usually there is so much corrosion built up on the shaft or in the thread, they ain't going to move because there's that much surface area and that much corrosion. You're getting this problem that the corrosion's tightening and tightening around the bolt and it won't let go. If you feel it's going to go like that, the tip I can only give you to make life a little bit easier, and it is going to take a long time, is to drill the heads off. Just get a drill the heads off, and then get some penetrating oil, some ATF and acetone mixed together, and just let it soak in over a period of a few days, and then just keep tapping it, because you want to try and get this cover to come off. So what you'd have to do is take all your bolts out, and you're going to have to try and wedge that cover off backwards and forwards. I can't think of any other way to do it, because otherwise you're going to wreck all that cover. That might be a very extreme case, but it might happen to you one day. And equally too, when you're putting these back on, sometimes it's a good idea, if there is signs of corrosion, just to run a drill through the hole and clean it all out before you put it back together. This isn't going to be a problem now. Now we can see that the sealer has come out of here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's have a look around here. You can see the sealer has made a nice exit, and so that means it's all nicely covered inside. One thing I've got to do next is these pipe stubs on here. They're pretty rusty and nasty. So that's it. Getting better all the time. Man, there isn't much on this engine we haven't touched yet. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. So making Land Rovers better, one at a time. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.